Now, I love Illuvium, but I also love being critical of all gaming projects. And I can't wait to break down the successes, but also brutal failures of Illuvium and its history with these recent announcements that they shared with the community. The silver lining is they are definitely headed in the right direction. I'm not afraid to tell you that up front, but it doesn't mean we can't critique where they've come from and even some elements of where they're going. I've been alongside you in the community for over 4 years now, and I understand how frustrating it can be to feel like they don't listen to the feedback you give them every single day of the studio's development and progress. And this video will help us both understand if they've done right by the community in the end. I will cover past milestones, upcoming content, speculation on when it might release, and some surprising leaks that reveal that there's actually a lot more to this story than I initially thought that are outside of these roadmaps and things like that actually tell a pretty interesting picture. But first, let's have a look at the milestones of Q2 and Q3 of 2025. In Q2, they did some major hirings for the MMO development, and in the arena, they did a range of different things. We can see they did UI and UX improvement for the game, fuel drops, stability improvements where they added in multiplayer servers. They did changes like 3 augments per alluvials, reward systems, end screen overhauls, which they've done multiple times now. And then we had a few beyond waves and things like that. I'm going to focus on the overworld and the arena for this video, I think. We've also got things like 0 leaderboards and bug fixes and other quality of life improvements. Not a whole lot has happened to Illuvium 0, which has been a little bit disappointing. It's definitely a game a lot of people really, really love. I don't necessarily think it's a mistake on their part. I think they need to focus on it after they have some mass market games in there. I mean, city builders, they have a pretty decent audience, but they take a lot to get right and add all the content you need to have people playing. And I'm not convinced that people would have spent a lot of money on it if it was a really fleshed out game. But really, it's just not like big in the crypto gaming community in particular. So I think that was probably the right call. With the websites, they did a lot of really good things. People even forgot in Q2 of 2025, they added localization. The mistake here was not doing it sooner. They really should have added that in much sooner. That being said, once you add in all the like major web pages and things, it's probably easier to do it then rather than having to redo it at any given point. But really good to see that in there. And we also had the My Rewards dashboard, which should have happened a lot sooner, but that functions really well. So I must admit, I expected that to be really buggy and shit, but it functions really well. Very, very impressed with it. And the profile page updates and things were really good. Clearly Q2 was pretty solid. Then we get to the Q3 milestones. Okay, spectator mode came out without all the features you need. All right, honestly, I half would have wanted them to wait a little bit, but really they came out with spectator mode. It didn't have the details of like the shop the player is looking at, the credits they have, the income, all that sort of stuff. And it still hasn't months and months later, which I actually think is ridiculous. As soon as that thing came out, they should have done everything else as well for that before doing anything else on the arena. Maybe it's a personal pet peeve for me, but that grinded my gears so much. Imprint tailoring was really good. Again, maybe that should have come earlier. Augment recommendation, all that is really good. Drone transparency, all of that is great. But I feel like none of this really helps the game. Okay, some of it does. Imprint tailoring makes the game better. Hollow and dark hollow visuals, get the game right first. I don't know if that's necessary. Final alluvial optimization, really good. Helps you play it on a wider range of hardware. New regions, really good, but they don't have the region battle boards in there yet. Just wait, just do it properly. You know, sometimes I just think maybe releasing things too quickly, especially since they started marketing in kind of Q3 of 2025, when maybe the game should have been a little bit more complete. But like, they really need a new set of characters. Okay, they need more characters in the game because really there's too many holes that need to be patched, and so the meta can feel really stale at times where there's only 5 tier 5 alluvials. You just kind of have to get them every time because without them, you don't have the power you need to win out the game. And it's not like you get them in like the final 2 players, okay, which makes it a little more interesting. You get them like pretty much straight away at like round 10, like every player's still alive and you get in these tier 5s, right? And so it feels a little bit stale and the meta feels a little too consistent like that. And so really you need to fix those parts of the games before doing a lot of these things. Improving spectating experience, I mean, it's always been the same. I don't know what that's about. Team Planner for Leviathan is pretty cool. That was definitely a really good ad. Again, I'm surprised it didn't come sooner than it did. But again, really, really glad it came in Q3. Arena Cinematic is fun. IPL Tournament starting, for example, this is just the things they finished, not everything that was in development. Gauntlet loading cutscene doesn't work, so that's a bit of a fail right there. Improve Arena endgame XP visibility. It's not particularly good. I think it's fine. IPL tournament starting, which is really good to see. They did a really good job with the IPL, trying to promote it as much as they could and get it out there, and really just bringing the community together. I don't know how hard they were going on a marketing point of view. I know that they've paid a bunch of TFT streamers and stuff to stream the game. Clearly, it hasn't brought in a whole lot of people, or at least not as much as I would have expected. And that's simply because, mostly because the game isn't quite there yet, which is a lot of what I just talked about already today. But the game needs much better onboarding. And what's something we don't see in Q3 2025? We don't see onboarding. We see things like automated ranked leaderboard distribution. Trying to think of bad examples, but they're actually like pretty good for the most part. Boosted Leviathan bonus. Team planner for Leviathan mode. I would have done onboarding before any of those. I know Leviathan's important to the community, but really the game needs to be good. That's what is top priority, okay? But I mean, a lot of these are fine, but really I just would have loved to see that sort of stuff come out first. With Beyond, we've got the Wave 4 promo for ILV Summer. A lot of the Beyond stuff has been really surprising, to be honest. I was surprised they were going to add so many new features, and maybe that wasn't really worth their time. It's clear that the crypto gaming community at large, and even Web2 gamers and things, are excited for things like the MMO and upgrades to the overworld. So maybe spending so much time on Beyond was not my personal decision that I would have made, but it just seems like a lot of effort and time spent on a part of the website that's not the core thing the community is demanding and asking for. I know how sometimes they can feel like the Illuvium team doesn't listen to them because they're still releasing all these side products that very few people are really interested in. Now, they are diehard fans, I must admit, and I love that part of the community, I really do. But sometimes you just want other parts of the game to just be focused on way before everything else. Automated rewards distribution should have been done 2 years ago. Glad it's finally done though. And then we got websites, migration of leaderboards to the new format. This is a really good change. I'm glad that they just kind of dropped that on us and was really, really great. Release process optimization, rewards dashboard V2, arena match history V1, all really, really good stuff there as well. Alliance program automation has been really good as well. All these website updates have been absolute killer. So let's get on to what is coming up for Illuvium in the future of this roadmap, okay? And right here, we've got it, okay? So we're going to do Overworld last because that's the most interesting. But basically, that's the MMO Lite. I don't know why they didn't write MMO Lite in there, but whatever. For the Arena, we're going to get Battle Pass V2, which I think is good, important for retention, revenue, and so on. Arena Mobile should have been prioritized a lot earlier, but good to have it there. Survival and Ascendant rework, I would not have included this here. I would have only included the things that are the top priority. And although I think they're really important, I think things like mobile localization, tutorial, pretty much everything else on this list, except maybe status VFX and is incredibly important. I wish some of that stuff was prioritized before the things we just saw in the highlights. And Ascendant and Survival come after all of that. And so I would have liked to not see them on this list. For Beyond, we've got Wave 5 promo and stuff like that. Great, they're probably working on that for ages. Good to see it coming out. Zero training gyms. Again, we know that's not a priority, so why put it here and kind of mislead the community a little bit? I don't think that's necessarily coming anytime soon. Some of the people in the some of the team members in the Discord have kind of hinted at such. And then websites, we've got a Luvidex revamp. It's already been revamped so many times. Do something else. Jesus Christ. Homepage. I thought the homepage is fine. Maybe they have a big plan I don't know about. I'm keen to see what that's about. New onboarding flow. I definitely think that's valuable, but Epic Games should really be your onboarding tool in a certain sense. And I would like to see Illuvium go to Steam. I'd like to see anything regarding Steam on this page right here. Staking V3, which is going to be really interesting and bring a lot more liquidity to the ILV token, which I actually think is a really important step. So very bullish on that. New blog and content system, which good for SEO. It is whatever. And detailed availability guide for the whole ecosystem. I think this is important, but maybe I can take care of that with my videos. So don't forget to jump down there, like, and subscribe. And chain migration, which should have happened long ago. I would have rathered that over some of this Beyond and Arena prioritization. But I'm glad it's being worked on now. Let's have a look at the Overworld vertical slice, which for anyone who doesn't know is basically the first community test of the MMO, its core gameplay features, things like that. But it's not going to be content rich. It's not going to have everything in it. It's just going to be like a really big testing ground. They're going to get the feedback they need and then push to develop the thing really, really quickly. It's going to have multiplayer, companions, boss encounter, alluvial capture, wildlife enemies, items, exploration content, ranger progression, weapons and gear, combat and quests, which is really, really cool. Alluvial capture I'm excited for. All of this stuff looks really, really fun. Now, the multiplayer is going to be a big part of that. If that works well, you can just jump into the world and see like 10, 20 other people just running around. That is going to be sick. I suspect it's going to be more like you jump in with 4 other players and you go hunt a boss and that's it. But we have seen a lot of screenshots and things of lots of players in the world running around. So I'm hoping that's what they get there. And that's what's going to really make it feel alive and interesting. Combat and quests is really good too. Obviously, ranger progression is going to be really fun. It is going to be reset, so it's going to be a little bit bittersweet. Not a whole lot of people are going to grind the vertical slice, so to speak. There are going to be some, but not as many as there could be. This is going to be the big marketing push, the big thing that brings people to Illuvium. It's going to make people put Illuvium on their radar again, but they're not going to jump in and start playing Illuvium. Maybe releasing this in phases would have been better, just upgrading the overworld one piece at a time, adding in progression and combat, and maybe starting to add in items and things like that, but you don't get that big relaunch moment. So I'm hoping the vertical slice doesn't last that long and we get that big relaunch moment sometime in mid-2025. That's my expectation, is hopefully we're going to get it then. Otherwise, it's going to be the end, 2026. Otherwise, I think it's going to be the end of 2026. Now, this is the problem we ran into last time, is where we were like, okay, people are really expecting the game. We just got to get it out there or the hate is just going to blow out of proportion, okay? I don't want us to go down that sad rabbit hole where it's like, just release it. People are expecting it. We just got to get it out there when it's not ready. It needs to be ready. Now, if Illuvium's starting to really run out of money, then it won't have a choice. That's fine. But it does really need to be ready. So although I'd like to say it really needs to be out by late 2026, if it's not ready, it needs to wait for 2027, 2028, whatever. It just has to be ready first. We've all learned that lesson, and really there's no do-overs here. If the MMO Lite launches and it's in a really bad state, it doesn't have enough content or enough future plans for content that can be done quickly, they're pretty much screwed. So I think that's a really important thing there. But all of these additions look incredible. From the leaks we've seen, they look like they play incredible. But here's the thing I want to point out, okay? We got these 2 leaks recently. One is a sword and a stone. This is actually one of the ores in the game. They're reusing the asset, I guess. Good, great. They've got a lot of assets to use. They reuse it. Graphically, this looks like shit. I'm not going to lie. This next one doesn't look as bad. But this is really interesting because I didn't think I'd be interested in a narrative or lore or whatever of Illuvium. But this brings up so many questions. It's so interesting. I think the quests as a part of the game are going to be a really big deal. That's kind of hard because you don't want to ruin it with the vertical slice. And so as long as they keep it really coy with the vertical slice, I'll be happy. But we've seen some of the quests and some of the little tooltips and things in the different leaks. I think it's showing through that this quest line and this journey you go on in the game is actually going to be a really fun part of the experience. It's going to bring people through, really aid retention, because people are like, I want to finish this game. I'm not just going to I'm aimless. I don't know what I'm doing, which is a big problem we had with the overworld. So this is really exciting. And this Sword in the Stone graphically looks significantly better, I'll tell you that much. It's a different weapon. It's from the tribes that came before or whatever that is. It probably turns into a weapon you equip or something like that. This lore, this is so interesting. I can't wait to see what comes next with the quests inside Illuvium.